Simplified Chaos, Episode 5.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to start leading a more purposeful life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hey, our wonderful listeners. This is Jillian, and I'm joined by my co-host and husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks?
And our 7-month-old baby is with us again, Lucille.
Lucille is back on the move.
It's feeding time, and I'm hoping she gently drifts off into a nice little nap. But right now, she is wide-eyed and bushy-haired and just staring at us.
Yes, and eating away.
Yes.
Absolutely. So what are we getting into today, Jill?
Today's topic is decluttering.
Oh, another one of my favorites.
Clutter. Clutter.
Yes.
So today we are going to be diving into why we started to declutter.
Yeah.
Grammar's hard sometimes. And I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You're off. It's Saturday.
I'm just modeling.
We're recording on a Saturday.
We all make mistakes, guys.
Yes.
The initial steps that we took to declutter, because we know it can be very overwhelming and super, super chaotic. How we let go of sentimental items, which is really difficult.
It's tough.
And the benefits we've seen, which is my favorite part. We've seen so many great positive effects from decluttering, and I'm excited to share them with you guys.
Me too. I think that's going to be the big takeaway today. So make sure you listen to the whole podcast.
And at the end, we are definitely sharing some of the resources we have used to help us stay sane during the whole decluttering process.
Yes, it can be very stressful to declutter, but I think at the end of the day, the benefits far outweigh the temporary stress. Isn't that right, sweetie?
Oh, she's just smiling away.
So yes, we can't wait to share this stuff with you. If you like this episode and find it beneficial, please give us a nice review, download, subscribe, share with a friend who might be dealing with some cluttering issues.
Please.
We'd love to help them out and share our experiences. But Jill, I'm feeling grateful. Again.
What are we
favorite
grateful?
Part.
I know.
You never know what I'm going to say.
I really don't. So what are we grateful for this week?
Today, I am grateful for snow days.
Snow days?
Particularly on the weekdays. And it's not because I'm missing work either.
I was going to say, I'm the teacher, so I'm the one who gets to stay home.
You get to stay at home. I don't get to deal with traffic.
Ah.
So for those of you who don't know, I work in Washington, D.C., but live closer to Baltimore. So a typical commute for me in the morning is about an hour and 15 to an hour and a half. And when we have a snow day here, the federal government shuts down, the schools shut down, and people stay at home. Not this guy. This guy goes into work, and it takes me 40 to 45 minutes to get there to downtown D.C., and it is beautiful.
Open road.
I love it. So I am grateful for snow days.
Good point.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So for me today, I am grateful for my cast iron skillet.
Ooh, I love your cast iron skillet.
I usually don't like to highlight specific material things because I know I'm all about experiences and people, but this is one item that I have that is a sentimental item, but it's also very functional for our family.
Yes.
It's the cast iron skillet that my mom used. So every time that I use it, I kind of think of my mom and that cooking experience that I would have with my mom, as well as it is a frittata making machine. It's the perfect size to make frittatas, and it stays hot forever. And we just hosted breakfast the other day, and I made a throw together frittata really easy, just threw whatever was in our kitchen, refrigerator, not everything in our kitchen. Threw some eggs in there, covered it, and then it stayed warm for 2 hours.
Yes.
So
we had some the other night too, and I
did.
Came home later, and it was still warm when I got home. I think you made it at 5 o'clock, and I ate it at 7, and it was still warm. I didn't have to heat it up or anything like that.
Brinner night is the best.
Brinner night is awesome.
For dinner.
Yes.
It's so easy.
That's another
simple.
thing to be grateful for. The genius that came up with Brinner.
Who did that?
Yes.
Breakfast for dinner.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I'm grateful for the one cast iron skillet that I own because I only need one.
And it's not setting off the smoke detector anymore.
We
learned how to use it the right way.
We do.
Yes. So great. We're grateful for a lot of things here. So now we're going to dive into today's topic. And again, tackling decluttering. Lucille's really excited about this topic. But,
Yes.
One of the things that, we like to do is kind of paint a picture of what we're going to talk about. And I think it's really
like
easy
Bob Ross picture with
Bob
happy
Ross,
trees.
yeah, happy trees,
Okay.
happy clutter all over the place. So, are you coming home and the first thing you see is shoes by the door,
Yep.
coats hanging on the banister, mail on the table, the kitchen counters are overflowing with appliances. Is your closet, your dresser overflowing with clothes? Has your garage turned into one big storage unit like ours? Do you have trouble finding things around the house? Do you feel like you just don't know where to start when it comes to decluttering? If you're answering yes to any of these questions, we can help out. And we're going to help by sharing our experiences with decluttering our house.
That is a nice chaotic picture you just painted.
It's very chaotic.
Very visual.
It was our life.
It absolutely was. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Absolutely. So why do you think, or when did we decide to start decluttering? What were some of the reasons why we started decluttering?
Well, I think what first sparked me to start looking at our home and the stuff we own was when my grandparents passed away. When they passed away, it was relatively close, about a month, and I think I've already talked about that. They passed away within a month of each other, and it was a very difficult process because not only were we grieving about their passing, but we also had to help go through their house.
Right.
And decide what things to keep, what things to donate, what things to throw away. And you don't realize how much stuff somebody owns until you really open up drawers, closets, and I didn't realize how many places they could store things in their row home in Baltimore.
Yeah.
It was a very skinny home, very deep, but it had so many compartments that I had no idea about.
Right.
So just pulling out, years and years of things that they saved that I'd never seen in my whole lifetime being there. They never went into any of these closets. And just seeing, my mom did most of the going through the items, but just seeing the burden that it put on her, like not only did she have to grieve, but she had to make really important decisions whether or not what to do with their things. And most of it, she couldn't decide right there because she was so overwhelmed. So a lot of it, she just spent lots of money on bubble wrap and boxes and just put things in boxes because she couldn't make that decision right away.
Right.
And she spent weeks and weeks going through their home. And all I kept thinking was, if I die, when I die, I don't want anyone to have to go through this. I don't want to burden anyone with all of my stuff.
Right.
It's not necessary. I want people to celebrate my life and go on a trip and spread my ashes somewhere, have a party. I don't want to spend weeks and weeks of somebody's time worrying about what to do with my things.
Right. And again, at the end of the day, they are things. Oftentimes they are sentimental. It sparks memories of those people.
History, yes.
And it's tough. It's tough to let go of those things. And we'll cover how we've dealt with sentimental items a little bit later on here in the episode. And so a lot of that stuff ended up coming to the house here.
Yes.
At the time, I wasn't living in the house. We were dating. We weren't married yet. So they ended up in the house. I believe there was also a storage unit that some of the items ended up in. And then, we did get married in October 2014. And so my stuff came into the house too, because I was selling my house. We were combining yours and mine household.
So I think it's important to note that I'm living in the house that I grew up in, and I was living in it with my mom. We both were paying the mortgage after my dad and my mom separated. So after Nick and I got married, he sold his home in Baltimore and he bought out my mom. And now we both own the house that I grew up in. So everything that was in the garage from my family and everything came into the garage from my grandparents' home was pretty much all in the garage.
Right.
Garage. I don't know if I said that right, but it just kept accumulating. Like between my family history and then my grandparents' history, like it had a nice little home.
And then there was also, the home in Pennsylvania that we
my
ended
other
up,
grandparents' home. Their things came here. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
It really accumulated quickly.
It did. But, that's what family's for. We're here to help out.
We are.
It's not an easy process going through those things.
Not at all.
But
not in the beginning, at least.
No,
it does get easier.
So that was one of the reasons why we started decluttering, and we did a good job at that point. But things, kind of tapered away. So this was, 2015-ish, I want to say, that we really started tackling that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, we got comfortable again. We would chip away at it every now and then, but didn't really put forth the effort that we did when we first started decluttering. But then we got some great news.
I was pregnant. Wow, that was a wake-up call. Like, we got to get our shit together,
yes.
man.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, we can't have our shit in her room. Like, we have our shit in our room. We can't have more shit in another room. Like, if we can't fit our stuff in our bedroom, then we've got issues. At least that's how I felt.
No, it really helped us be more deliberate with the rooms and the purpose that they served.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had that one room that it was just kind of like a hodgepodge of just stuff that was in there, old computers, old dressers, like just things that we weren't using. So it really, knowing that I got pregnant and we needed to have a space for her own bedroom, it just kind of helped us look at our rooms and say, okay, what purpose is this going to serve?
Yes.
Even downstairs in our communal areas, like, what is the vision we have for our house? Like, what is this room going to be used for? What is this room going to be used for? And that helped us make the decision making a lot easier when we knew that the purpose of the rooms were going to be.
Right.
But yeah, knowing that she was going to get stuff, and we know she has grandparents and friends and family that love her, we were going to get a lot of stuff, and we knew that, and we were prepared for that. So we made room for her things, and we got rid of things that we didn't need anymore, so we would have space and the sanity to deal with all the things that she was going to get.
Right.
I didn't want to be overwhelmed and stressed out with this accumulation of our stuff and her stuff, so I think it was nice that we kind of went through our stuff first to prepare for her stuff coming in.
Exactly. So we did that. We got rid of some stuff, and then we're now at the point where we still, we felt much better, but we still hadn't reached that point. And then Marie Kondo, who is the latest trend right now,
she's very popular.
Taking off.
She's so cute.
She kind of is getting us to that finish line. Now, is our job done here? No. We still have some things to declutter, but
it's always a process. It just gets easier and it takes up less time. But initially starting, it was very overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you can't get around that. You have to feel that overwhelm, or else it's not going to like hit you that you have a problem and you need to fix it.
Exactly. But she's given us these steps to really finalize and let go of maybe some of the clothes that we still were hanging on to that, as she would say, sparks joy.
Yeah.
For me, it's sparking joy, but also having a purpose. Ultimately, we've gotten rid of so much stuff in just the last month after reading her book and starting to watch her next Netflix series. It's been great, but we still have work to do. We still have the garage. I still have the shed. Most of the stuff that ends up in the garage that we know that we're going to send to Goodwill or sell on Facebook Marketplace or take to the dump. We have to make those decisions, and those decisions will be made shortly.
Like we have everything. We feel very confident and comfortable with the way our home is now, and it's taken us 4 years. This has been a 4-year process of simplifying and decluttering, and I think I finally feel at a place where it feels right. It's just the right amount of stuff for us.
Right.
I'm not overwhelmed. I feel calm and happy in my home, and I think the only place that's kind of has that uncalm feeling is the garage, but I'm okay with that. It's kind of like limbo. It's, we have to decide what to do with it, but I'm okay with limbo because I know that eventually it's going to find a place. It just takes time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am grateful that we have a garage that we can put those things in, and maybe one day our cars will go in there. That's the main goal, is that our cars can fit in there, which would be fantastic.
3-year and counting goal.
It's funny how like the American garage, I feel like, is like a storage unit. It's rarely, like, there's not many homes that use it to put cars in.
Right.
And that's just because we own so much stuff.
Right. Well, and the storage industry is booming. I mean, you see new storage places popping up
That's true.
all the time. And, I can see them as if you're transitioning, if you're between houses, but if you can't fit your stuff into your house, into your home, then what's its purpose? Why are you hanging on to it?
Yeah.
I see the benefit in some storage units, but long term, I don't see it as a long term solution for anybody. I mean,
No.
they cost a lot of money. Um, Oftentimes when they don't get paid, then you lose your stuff anyway. It goes off to auction and you lose all your stuff.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. But I see the purpose for a short term period, but if you can't fit it into your house, then why have it? But
Plus,
again, that's a question
you don't
that
want
you have to
anyone
answer
else
yourself.
having to go through that. Like,
Right.
something could happen to you tomorrow and someone else is going to have to deal with all that stuff. So why not start today, make a change today, so that you have peace of mind for the people that you care about, that they don't have to worry about that and feel that burden and overwhelm of going through your stuff.
Right.
But I think it's important that we talk about the initial steps, kind of like break it
Now
down.
you know why we decided to declutter. Let's tell you
That's our
a little
big
bit
why.
how, some of the steps that we took. So I think the first thing we did, and this was one of the things that we saw earlier on, was, we started seeing our house with fresh eyes. And we realized that we just have too much stuff. We had duplicates of things. We had stuff that we're never going to use. We had
things that we hung on to because we felt guilty because we got them as gifts.
Right. And if you guys want to hear more about gifts, we talk about that in episode 2
Gift giving.
on gift giving and receiving. So if you haven't checked that one out, it's a good episode. It's one of my favorites. So first thing we did was we saw our house with fresh eyes and realized that we needed to make a change there. So for you and I think because we have a shared household, it's not just you and I here. Your sister-in-law or my sister-in-law, your sister's here. And there was a point where your mom was here for a little bit after we bought the house. And she's over here all the time because she's, Lucille's nanny. Full-time care.
Caregiver.
She's amazing. We can't thank her enough for that.
Thanks, Mom.
But our first step was going through our own belongings.
Yes, I think that's important, that if you do want to declutter, to just go through your own things. Try not to go through anybody else's stuff, because that's when the problems start.
Yes.
And I know it's tempting to want to help others and do it for them, but believe me, people don't want to be changed. They want to change themselves. So the only thing you can do is start with your own things, and that's exactly what we did. We started with our clothes, our closets, our shoes, and we just went through our belongings in our bedroom mostly for the first part.
Our pillows.
I'm
bringing up the pillows.
Oh my goodness.
So for those of you who don't know, Jill leaves the house earlier than I do. She has to be at work by 7?
I'm in early school, so school day starts at 7:30.
So I get up after her, and so one of the things that she loves is a freshly made bed.
It just makes me feel super productive. Even if I'm not the one who makes it, just coming home and seeing it made, it just I get this warm, fuzzy feeling.
So I make the bed for her. And we used to have all these, I don't even want to call them decorative pillows, but
they're there for decoration because they make the bed look cozy. I mean, a lot of women can probably relate to me. When you see 4 or 5 cute fluffy pillows on the bed, it just makes your bedroom look, this bed looks super warm and cozy. I just want to snuggle up on that.
But my thing was, I'm making the bed in the morning. It was fine. We had 3 pillows. It wasn't
overwhelming.
Yeah, it wasn't overwhelming at all. But we're not a model home. We don't have people walking through our bedroom every day saying, "Ooh, this bed looks really comfy. I want to lay in it."
It's like I was trying to show off for people who never came in our bedroom.
Usually the only time people come in our bedrooms, we have people over and we throw the coats on the bed.
True.
But even so, I'm the one going up and down the stairs getting their coats. So, Jill one day came to the realization, we don't need pillows on the bed.
We put them down.
We don't use.
We put them back up the bed. We take them back off the bed. We put them back on the bed. Do we ever actually use them? No. Yes. So it took me a while to realize that, and I was like, "Yeah."
You came around.
I was like, Nick makes the bed Monday through Friday. I'm going to make that a lot easier for him, and I'm just gonna kindly let these pillows go and let them find a new home.
Absolutely.
Someone who's going to use them.
And we are podcasting in our bedroom because it's one of the areas that doesn't have a lot of echo in the house, and I'm currently looking at our bed, and it has not been made. Yeah,
that's my fault.
Strike against
I'm the one who makes it on the weekends.
No, I was the second one up, so it should have been me, but I digress.
But yeah, we started with our bedroom first, went through our clothing, shoes, got rid of things we didn't wear, things that didn't bring us joy, as Marie Kondo would say, and
we didn't know it at the time. We got rid of it because it didn't bring us joy, but we didn't consciously. I don't think we were conscious about that. You know, it was just like, yeah, I'm not using this
We
anymore.
were mindful, but
I wasn't. Yeah.
we hadn't read her book yet and really like held each piece of clothing.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like, what do I wear and what don't I wear?
Right.
And I will say that I think when you have less space or when you have to share a space, it helps you be more intentional of what you want to keep and helps you really narrow down what to let go.
Yes.
Because we do share a very small walk-in closet,
Yeah,
if you could call it a walk-in closet.
I don't even know if we can walk in it, but I mean, it feels like the walls are collapsing in on you.
Yeah, so it's a very small closet, and I previously had a large closet to myself, and I had a very large dresser. And when we got married and moved in together, you know, we had to share one closet, and having a limited amount of space really helped force me and motivate me to like, listen, I need to get rid of some more things. I really don't need all these clothes.
Right.
So I will say having less space was a really great motivator for me to just really be intentional of what to keep, what not to keep.
Definitely. And we share half the closet.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
50-50.
Mm-hmm.
And we each have our own dressers.
That's all we have. One dresser, and we share half the closet.
Yep. And
that's it.
That's all we need. Our clothes are not anywhere else in the house. We have both our seasonal clothes are there. Like there's nothing in boxes or anything like that.
No.
It's all in the closet or in our drawers.
That's never happened.
It's crazy.
And because we're in Maryland and we have 4 seasons, I understand. Like I used to have
Fall's 2 weeks.
I used to have seasonal clothes like put away, but it's so weird knowing that there is nothing in storage.
Nothing.
My shorts are in my dresser, but that's only because I mean I didn't have that many clothes. But once I learned the art of folding a little bit better, thanks to Marie Kondo, I had space in my drawers to fit my shorts. So now there is nothing in storage.
Yeah.
I have all 4 seasons of clothes out, which has never happened in my entire life.
Right.
And I feel really sexy about that.
I love it. I've actually got space in my drawers that I can actually add more clothes if I wanted to, but you know me, I shop for clothes once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
Like that's just me. I buy shoes every 3 years and I wear them, you know, down to you know when they're breaking. So yeah, I mean, I have room for more clothes, so I can even downsize the size of my dresser if I ever wanted to, but it doesn't take up much space. So
I think space is good. I think a lot of people think if they see empty space, they have to fill it.
Right.
But you know, there's a lot of beauty in space, like in museums. You see art and you see a lot of wide open space.
Yes, because you want to focus.
Exactly. It makes the art look that much more special.
Yes.
So having space is okay. Empty space in your home, in your drawers, in your cabinets is so beautiful. You don't have to fill everything.
Absolutely. And so, you know, after we went through our own belongings, you know, kind of moved things forward, you know, then we went into the shared spaces. So we looked at bathrooms, kitchen, kind of went room by room, which is not what Marie Kondo kind of advocates, but that's what worked for us at the time. And so the bathrooms, we ended up remodeling both of our bathrooms up here,
and that really helped
upstairs, and that helped us get rid of, you know, unnecessary things. Even though I feel like we have more storage now in our bathroom because the way we changed the vanity. But you know, we had to pull everything out anyway, so it gave us a chance. Oh, we're not using this anymore, so we tossed, you know, what we didn't need. The kitchen, I want to say one of the cool things about our kitchen is we do have some open shelves. We took some of the cabinet doors.
I wouldn't call them open shelves. I call them open cabinets.
Well, that's what I meant.
They were cabinets, and we just took off the doors.
Yeah. But that forces us to keep those areas decluttered too. So our plates are stacked really nicely. Our bowls are stacked nicely. We have a nice bin for all of our Tupperware that you don't even see the Tupperware. You know, our spices are lined up nicely. Like it's just forced us to make sure that those spaces are decluttered because it's visual. You know, everyone can see it when they walk in. It's on show.
And I will say that I know we did the bathrooms together, and it was beneficial pulling everything out.
Yes.
And seeing everything with fresh eyes and be like, do I need this? Do I not need this? And I will say the bathroom was definitely a joint effort for both of us because we both share those products. But with the kitchen, I feel like because I use it more.
Yes.
And because I'm the main chef in the home, I feel like I maybe took the lead a little bit more.
You did. You absolutely did.
Because I'm the one who's mostly in there. Not that I don't get help from you or my sister, but I definitely took the lead in decluttering the kitchen because I'm the one that's in there the most.
Yes.
So I felt like it was my responsibility. It's my little workspace to do what I want. But then I made sure to include you guys, like, This is where this is. So you guys knew where everything was. That way, if you're ever in the kitchen, everything had a place and you were aware of it.
Well, and somebody who does the dishes in the house because you cook dinner,
Thank you,
which
sir.
I always appreciate. It's also forced you to use less when preparing meals. So you're not creating as many dishes for me too. So
Yeah, so
much appreciated.
I will say, keeping in mind that I'm not the one who does the dishes, I try to be very intentional about how many spatulas or pans that I use, and I try to make it as simple as possible. So that way my husband's not burdened with all of this shit he's got to clean. I don't want him to have a big mess. And I will say, when I went through my kitchen, I didn't realize how many double I had of everything. I had
or even triple.
double ladles, double whisks, yeah, even triple. And I was like, why do I have multiple ones of these? And I think it's mostly because I grew up with that. My mom had many of the same tools. Did we use them all? No, but that's what I was used to, and I thought that that's what the norm was.
Right.
And then I just kind of like hit me like, I don't need two of these. Like, it just takes up space. I don't need two of these egg separators or, any kind of tool. So just freeing my cabinet space of those things was just fantastic. It made being in the kitchen calmer for me. It made wanting to cook a lot more exciting. And I know it's probably made it less chaotic for you when you're in there and you're putting away dishes, and if you need to cook, if you have to, if it's an emergency situation. I will say you cook a mean breakfast sandwich and a breakfast scramble. But
you're limiting me just to breakfast?
Well,
come on, Jill.
I'm sorry. You do make pizzas.
Yes. There we go.
But yeah, I will say, so the common areas we did together, except for some of the main places where I was mostly in there. But so the living room, the dining room, we did together.
Yeah.
And we just thought of the purpose. I think we said, what is this room going to be used for? And when Lucille was coming, we said, we're in this room all the time. We need space for her toys. This is where she's probably going to play.
Yeah.
So we need to make space for bringing her toys in so she can play here.
Yeah. And I think that's another episode that we need to tackle, is making a place kid-friendly rather than kid-safe.
Kid-proof.
Yeah, kid-proof or whatever. And I think
kid-accessible.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I definitely want to tackle that in a future episode. But that was our intentional thinking of, how we need to set up the place and what we need to get rid of in order to bring in things for her. So then after we tackled some of the shared spaces, the last things that we've done is the linen closet, the garage, the basement. We have a little storage place under our stairs, and we've gotten rid of some stuff there. The linen closet we tackled twice. The first time was getting rid of unnecessary sheets.
We had like
and towels. It was ridiculous.
Sets of sheets. I mean, we even had like twin sheets in there. We don't have twin beds anymore. I mean, we used to have bunk beds back in the day, but there was, I guess, when you constantly are adding things to your closet, you never actually look at the closet and take everything out and be like, what is in here that I haven't been using in years?
Exactly.
So just taking everything out was like, why do I have so many pillowcases? This one doesn't even have a match. And that kind of bothers me a little bit.
Oh, it would bother me too.
Where's its friend? Where's its partner?
But yeah, we did the linen closet twice. We cut down on it, but then, the final step was, having Marie Kondo's, again, we keep referencing her, but she's been a big influence.
Just tweaking it.
Yeah, just tweaking it. So
for the final stages.
Exactly. Yeah. So the things that we really have left to tackle are, we have some things that we're still getting rid of on Facebook Marketplace. We have a big table in the basement that we're going to get rid of, and then there's still our staging area out in the garage, where we have furniture as well. So those are things that we're actively trying to get rid of, and then once the weather gets a little bit nicer, we're recording this podcast in January, so maybe end of March, early April is when I'm going to Marie Kondo the garage and the shed, because I feel like those are the last two areas that we really need to tackle.
And I will say, when it comes to deciding what furniture to keep, as you're decluttering each room and realizing the purpose it's going to serve, you realize that, I got rid of all these decorative dishes in the dining room. Why do I need this buffet or this display case if I'm getting rid of everything in there? Like, my mom had a fancy dining room. Did we ever use the antique diningware that was stored in there? Never.
No.
So that made that decision easier to get rid of that large piece of furniture. So as you're decluttering and thinking about the vision or the purpose of your home and the rooms, it makes it a lot easier to decide which pieces of furniture to keep and what pieces of furniture to kindly let go to find a new home to be
Right.
used.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point, especially with antiques, things that have been in the family for a long time. And let's talk a little bit about
Sentimental items.
sentimental items. And I don't want to say getting rid of sentimental items, but finding good homes for sentimental items, I think is the key, particularly things that still have a purpose or can bring joy to other people. What did you do when you came across something sentimental, and how were you able to move along from it?
So for me, I think
It's
getting rid
tough.
of them is tough, but I had to realize that the item wasn't a memory. My memories are in me.
Right.
And that made it a little bit easier. There were certain things that I wanted to keep as decoration purposes, and we don't have a lot of decorations,
No.
but we have a limited amount of space to show those, and it's like 2 shelves. So I think having a limited amount of space like forces you that I can only keep this amount of sentimental items if I wanted to display them.
Right.
Like I have these vintage cameras and this picture that I got from my grandmother that I definitely wanted to keep. But a lot of other things, it just didn't need to be here. It just made me feel overwhelmed if it was here because it's like, where am I going to store it? Where am I going to keep
Well,
it?
and most of the time they're sitting in boxes and they don't see
Yes.
the light of day. We're holding on to things that I guess, that are sentimental to the, family history and whatnot. They may bring up memories, but at the end of the day, we're storing those memories in a box in a garage somewhere. And, it's not fair to that item.
Yeah, it's almost like treating your items like a pet. You want them to have love and care and affection and attention. And if they're stored in a box somewhere, they're not getting that.
No.
You need to let them go and be free and thank them for the purpose they served in that time of your life. But you just need to let them go and find a new home. And I know selling them at yard sales and Facebook Marketplace, it's helped us let go of more sentimental items because we get to meet the new owner of that sentimental item.
Right.
And they're actually going to use them. It's not just going to sit there. And that makes that process so much easier when you do get to find them a home and let them go and see that they're going to be cared for and used and not just sit somewhere and not get cared for.
That's kind of like the Hummels that we talked about in the very first episode on Simple Living. It was a sentimental item for the family, and we were able to find somebody who would treasure them as much as your grandmother did.
And that made them let them go so much easier for me and my mother.
So just because it doesn't have a place in your life anymore doesn't mean it doesn't have a place for somebody else. And you just need to find that person.
And if you can't find that person, then be strong enough to say, you know what, I'm going to donate it and it's going to find a home. Just have that hope that it's going to be in somebody's hands, that it's going to use it.
Because I'll tell you, at the end of the day, the burden will be lifted. Having clutter around the house and just seeing it, it's always in the back of your mind. You might not think about it, consciously, but it's there, and it's a source of stress. It's taking up space.
Physical space, mental space, emotional space.
Absolutely.
I will say another thing that kind of helps me decide what items to keep is if there's a sentimental item that I'm going to use, then I absolutely keep it. For example, my cast iron skillet. It is a sentimental item that my mom handed down to me, and I use it a lot. And I know we actually got a rocker that was from my grandparents, and, it was kind of beaten up, but my mom got it reupholstered, and that was a sentimental item because my grandmother, fed my mom in that breastfeeding. It's like the breastfeeding rocker. So my grandmother fed my mother fed me in that rocker, and my mom gave it to me. And, she's handed me down a lot of things, but I don't keep everything. I tell her, I'm like, Mom, this isn't going to, I'm not going to use it. I want to find it a good home because I want it to be used. But the rocker, that was an item I knew that I could use, and we got it reupholstered and we made it brand new, and I use it all the time for Lucille.
We found a purpose for it, and we use it every day.
So I
every
think
day.
Determining, if you're actually going to use it, then absolutely keep it if it's going to be used. If not, then just, thank it for what it's done and find it a good home.
Yes. So that's sentimental items. I know it's difficult. It's easier said than
done. Yes.
Yeah, easier said than done. But you can do it. You just have to be strong. you'll always have those memories with the folks who, gave you those items.
Yeah.
And, just make sure you hold on to those.
Oh, I wanted to mention one more thing.
Sure.
So one sentimental item that I kept going through and I kept keeping and finally I let it go were my yearbooks.
Oh, yeah.
My high school and elementary school yearbooks, actually. I kept going through them and then they would be in a drawer somewhere and I'd go through them and be like, no, I'm going to keep them. One day I'll show them to Lucille. We'd put them somewhere else. We'd go through the drawer. No, I'll keep them. One day I'll show them to Lucille. Then I thought about it. It's this 1-by-1 picture of me in this giant book. Why am I saving this tiny little picture of me in this giant book just to show Lucille? I have tons of photos of me when I was a kid, and they're nicely in albums.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I have to save my yearbook?
Right.
It just kind of seems silly to me. And I know some people maybe have a lot more photos of them if they were in sports and all this extracurricular stuff, and they're like, oh, I want to save this. That is, you do you. But I just kept thinking, even like our high school yearbooks are probably like 1.5 inches thick.
Right.
We had a big school we went to.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And there's just one tiny picture of me in my yearbook. And I'm like, why am I saving this gigantic yearbook?
Right.
And I don't even look at it. The only time I look at it is when I'm going through drawers. And then I keep putting it aside thinking I'm going to use it.
Yeah. I can recall one time looking at my parents' yearbook when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. But, I mean, it was for a few minutes. And
they have so many photos of them that you could see what they look like when they're in high school.
Exactly.
So I think,
and photography now is just insane. I mean,
yes.
We take hundreds of pictures a day on our phone.
I know.
It's crazy. So yearbooks will be phased out one day.
I do think another tip to help us get rid of sentimental items was thinking, if I ever had the notion like, oh, one day I'll use it. As soon as I think that, I never use it. Like, that's what I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that in the beginning, like I'd open up a drawer and be like, oh, you know what? Someday I'm going to use that. And I would hold on to it. And then I would find it somewhere else. One day I'm going to use it. I realized that if I'm ever saying one day I'm going to use it, the chances are 99% of the time, I'm never going to use it.
Never.
So that's kind of like a rule I keep in my head. If I am about to say that, I need to kindly let it go because it's not going to be used.
Nope.
Find it a good home.
Absolutely.
Give it some love.
And I will do an episode on Facebook Marketplace and Let Go and some
You're
places.
Pro at that.
Yeah, it's getting good. Just sold a snowboarding jacket yesterday.
Yeah, we're finding good homes for things. We're making some extra money. It's like a nice little side hustle. People. Yes, that is so surprising. But yeah, that's definitely another episode.
Absolutely. So now that we've decluttered and it's an ongoing process, we're almost there. What are some of the benefits that you've seen personally, Jill, as a result of decluttering? I know it's an open-ended question and it's a lot.
I have like a laundry list.
Let's do it. Let them have it.
A better marriage. We save money, less cleaning. I'm motivated to cook more. Hosting and parties at our house are way less stressful. I have more confidence in making decisions. I feel like I'm more creative when I have less things to work with. And I'm realizing that I don't need to have everything to be happy.
That sums it up for me. But yeah, just to kind of expand on some of those points, we had some friends over for a breakfast the other week, and we didn't do any cleaning Friday night. We kind of, I think
we talked about this in the last episode.
We did, but it was very easy. Like, it took us literally a half an hour in the morning to clean up. So they came over, around 9:30. We get up in the morning, between 6:30 and 7, just depending on Lucille. But we got up, we had a cup of coffee, said, okay, let's get the cleaning. We were done in a half an hour, and that's including vacuuming, doing the downstairs bathroom, and then just some small items that were just laying around. I mean, it was super easy.
And it feels calming knowing that if we ever have pop-ins, like, hey, we're dropping by in like 15 minutes, we're not scrambling around trying to get our crap together. It's like, no, we'll pick up this, we'll pick up that. We're good.
Absolutely.
We're not like running around with our heads cut off like, oh my God, our house is a mess. We can't show off our house like this. People are going to judge us. It's like, no, we got it under control now.
And I will say, now that we've started doing some of the Marie Kondo methods, is that, when I get home and, if I change clothes, I immediately fold my clothes the way that she teaches you to fold the clothes and put it back in the drawer.
Mind blowing.
Like, I used to be the guy who came home, threw the clothes on the floor, and sometimes I'll have the clothes that I wear every day, just kind of laying on the floor because,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we're
But,
human.
I can easily pick that up and put it away. But I don't have like a pile of clothes on the floor of either dirty or clean clothes that I don't know which is which.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to put stuff away now just because I can see the benefit
Everything
of,
has a place.
everything having a place. It's motivating to just get it done. So there's just been so many benefits. And like I said, doing dishes now is easier. It's allowing us to spend more time planning for podcasts or, more time with Lucille,
Planning
vacations, which we can't wait to go on a couple this year.
Mm-hmm.
Copenhagen.
And because we both are calmer and, we feel good about being home, we're not stressed out and taking it out on each other.
No.
We get along.
It's a very stress-free life we live here.
It is. And when you're not overwhelmed, you want to treat people really well and you want to have more patience with people. So our marriage is, I think our marriage is fantastic.
It's great.
Because we're not fighting about who's going to clean this, who's going to clean that. We have more time for date nights. We have more time for sex. Oops.
Yep.
It just, it just makes our relationship that much better because we don't have anything to complain about.
No. And we communicate. I think we've talked about communication a lot in the past episodes, and communicating our desire to declutter and, sharing that experience together and reading the book together, watching the show on Netflix together.
Mm-hmm.
It's and we motivate each other. Like, I'll see you start decluttering and I'm like, shit, I'm going ahead and I'm going to start doing that too. We motivate each other. So I want to thank you for that and let you know that I'm grateful for you and the things that we do together, including decluttering.
And as far as like the benefit of saving money, when you get rid of so many things, you realize, like, why did I buy all these things?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you more intentional about when you do buy things.
Absolutely.
When you see so many things go out of your home, it just makes you that much more conscious. Like, wow, I was like mindlessly just picking up decorations because I thought they were cute at Target, or buying like even extra food. Like, oh, I might need this. It just makes you that much more intentional of, do I really need this? Is it going to be used? Is it worth my time cleaning?
Yeah, do I need to buy 5 things of mouthwash and store that somewhere? No, just get it when you need it.
Exactly. You don't have to buy in bulk. Like, we never were a buy in bulk kind of family.
No, we don't do the Costco or Sam's Club or BJ's or anything like that.
We just buy as we need, and actually makes me more sane because I don't have to find a place to store all of the stuff that we think, oh, it's a good deal. Yes, there's deals all the time. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be a good deal. There's always going to be a sale. There's always going to be, that special,
the next best thing.
Yeah. It's just ways to get you to get things, and it works most of the time with people. But now we're looking at it like, we don't need you.
Fooled you.
Fooled you. But yeah, so saving money has been a really big benefit.
Yes. Yeah. And we're putting all the money that we're making off of Facebook Marketplace that's going to our vacations. Like we said, this is where that money's going. But because we're not bringing in other things into the house, yes, that money is now being reallocated to paying off some of our debt. Check out episode 4, budgeting.
As far as less cleaning, I had this aha moment that I didn't have to have a decoration on every single shelf, dresser. Like, I grew up the kid full of knickknacks. Like, my grandmother would buy me knickknacks all the time, and I had shelves and dressers full of them. And that's probably why I never dusted or just let it accumulate until it was like disgusting.
It's hard as hell to dust when you have a million things on a dresser.
Oh my gosh.
You
and then
can't
I was
just
like,
pull it up. Yeah,
why do this decoration really is not sentimental. It doesn't bring back any memory. It doesn't give me joy. I got rid of so many decorations that I thought I needed to make my home look like a model home in a magazine.
Yeah.
But then thinking about it, I'm the one who has to take care of it. Mm-hmm. I'm the one who has to dust it. So then I just started getting rid of things off of our dresser. And dusting is like a breeze.
It's very easy.
It's so easy. And it was never like that growing up.
Well, and kind of going back to things on dressers, one of the things that we've done in our house is we have a picture wall. And it's just one wall that has pictures and artwork on it. We may have a couple other pictures throughout the house, but it's really easy to clean them because we don't have a million pictures on any given piece of furniture. Mm-hmm. So that also helps us.
Yeah, we got rid of, there's really no knickknacks at all. No. There might be some candles that I have to pick up in the bathroom to clean. But essentially, there is nothing like cluttering our countertops, our tables, our dressers, our shelves. It makes cleaning so less overwhelming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But now we're going to get into the quote of the day, if Jill has it up on her phone.
The quote of the day. Wait, weren't we supposed to do resources first?
Oh, I jumped ahead of myself. I am so sorry, folks.
You're going to the finish line.
I'm going to the finish line. But yes, we want to offer some resources. Obviously, we've talked about Marie Kondo through the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
So check her out on Netflix. She's got a series called Tidying Up.
Which I'm sure everybody already knows.
Yes, absolutely.
But I will say,
if you don't know about it, check her out.
I will say maybe spend less time watching it and more time actually doing it.
Take action, folks.
Yes, if you watch an episode, then get off your patootie and get up and actually start doing some of the stuff they're doing. Don't sit there and watch the whole season and then all that time is spent watching it instead of actually doing it.
Right.
So watch an episode, then do something. Watch another episode, do something. So actually put into action what she's teaching you.
Do it!
As far as another resource.
That was a Shia LaBeouf.
What is that from?
It's just an internet video.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
I just picture him from Even Stevens.
Oh.
Sorry. That's real.
We're bantering here. Apologies, folks.
Another resource is from Simplifying the Everyday. She is a mama and she's actually a professional organizer. Check her out on Instagram at Simplifying the Everyday. She had some really great tips, very simple tips for helping with decluttering and keeping the kitchen just nice.
Spick and span.
Spick and span. So one of her tips is respecting the countertop. And I like that. Respect the countertop. You want to make most of your kitchen clear, clean.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have appliances that you use, like toasters, blenders, don't make their home the countertop. Make their home into a cabinet and put them away.
Absolutely. And if you're decluttering, you should be able to find space for your appliances.
Yes. And as far as mail, I know it can accumulate, paper, magazines. You know, we recycle every advertisement we get.
Get rid of that shit.
We immediately recycle advertisements, and we have mail slots that we put our mail in. So we have these. It doesn't take up that much space.
I kind of want to eliminate those anyway, because what are we keeping, really? Like,
true. They're not essential. Yeah, they're not important.
All of our bills now are electronic. I get electronic notifications and all that, and we're paying off all our bills, so
less paper.
Yeah, less paper. So I eventually want to get rid of those, but you can keep it in a nice, neat area if you have like bins, which we do in one of our areas in the house, so that we don't have paper all over the place or mail on the table. Like, it comes in, we immediately recycle the advertisements
coupons,
and things.
everything. It just makes us want to buy more.
The important stuff goes in our bins, and we try to go through them every week and get rid of the ones that we really don't need.
So yeah, just respecting your countertops in your kitchen. The second tip she had was just getting rid of unnecessary packaging, which I actually just started doing. So, for example, we buy Lara bars and some, I think, Annie's fruit snacks, and just taking it out of the boxes and finding a little basket to put them in. It saves room in your cabinets. It's less bulky, and you can actually have a better idea of what you have. So you're not questioning, how many do I have in that box? It's
you
can
got
see
two
everything.
left.
Yeah, so then it's like, oh, hey, I need to buy more, instead of, I'm not sure if I have more. Let me pick up another box.
Or you have a box that's only one's gone, and then you're like, oh, I need to buy another box, but you've already got a full box.
Yeah, like just buying clear containers to put in, like your nuts, your oatmeal, your baking supplies, so you can visibly see what you have, and it looks aesthetically pleasing. I mean, we want a clean kitchen, but we also want a kitchen that's pleasing to the eye.
Absolutely.
So that's another great tip. Did I say? What's wrong with saying nuts?
Here, I'm a kid.
Get your mind out of the gutter. And the last tip she had was, if you have something that is like a special gadget that can only be used for one thing, I want you to question, do you actually need to keep it? For example, we used to have an egg white separator. We used to have a mango cutter, or maybe you have a melon ball scooper. These tools can only be used for one thing.
Scooping melon balls.
Do you really need that specific tool? Is there another tool that you already have that can do the job? For example, I really didn't need my mango cutter. First off, I think we had a mango phase, but we don't eat mangoes that often. But I could use a knife. I don't need a specific cutter specifically for mangoes that's kind of bulky to take up space. I don't need an egg white separator. I can just
use the eggshells.
Like, when you have less tools, it helps you be more creative with the tools you have and to use them in multiple ways.
Absolutely.
For example, our mason jars.
Yeah.
They're used as storing things. They're used as our cups when we drink water.
Mm-hmm.
They're used for overnight oats. We use them for a lot of things.
Mason jars are awesome.
Right?
And for moonshine.
And,
no, we don't drink moonshine.
We also got rid of my giant spiralizer. I paid like $150 for this huge spiralizer because I saw it on Instagram and everybody was using it. And I'm like, I have to have this. Come to find out, I had this little Vegetti all along that does the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's way less easier to clean. It's like maybe 4 inches long.
Yeah. Easy to store.
Easy to store. And I was like, I'm never using my spiralizer. I used it once because it was a pain in the butt to clean.
Yep.
And I said, I may have spent a lot of money on this, but it's causing me more stress than anything. So I think we sold it on
a box.
We sold it on Facebook Marketplace for probably like
$20.
$20. And that's another thing you learn when getting rid of things is that you're going to have to learn that just because you paid a lot of money for it, you're not going to get that money back, guys. So that makes you more intentional when you do buy in the future. So
absolutely.
I just had to say, okay, I'm never going to get that money back.
Learn from your $100 mistake.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And just because you see something fancy on Instagram doesn't mean you have to have it. Just look around your house. You may have something that you can use already to do the same job. So special gadgets, see you later. I don't need you. You do one thing, I don't need you. I got tools that can do multiple things.
Holler.
So those are the 3 tips I
have
from her. And we will put her Instagram handle and her website on the show notes.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Are you ready?
So now are we good for the quote of the day?
The finish line is
here we are.
Now.
We're at the finish line
Just
here,
rushing this podcast, man.
Check out this quote of the day.
Quote of the day. The quote of the day is from Marie Kondo, and we've been referencing her so much in this podcast episode.
I hope she shouts out.
And this is from her book. Truly precious memories will never vanish, even if you discard the objects associated with them.
Lovely.
And our take action from this episode, from this quote of the day is, let the past go so you can make room for living your present life. You can let go and still keep memories. They're not going anywhere, guys. They are in you. They're not in your stuff. And if you need a visual to think about, like high school graduation cap, I have to say I held that for a while.
Yeah.
You can't hold physically your high school graduation cap and hold your new baby at the same time. You're going to have to let go of your past to make room for space for new things in your arms, in your hands, in your life.
Wonderful.
So that's a little visual representation for you.
I'm visualizing it right now. I've got 2 beautiful blue eyes staring right at me.
She did
great. She fell asleep, she behaved, and now she wants to talk.
So let go, guys, so you can live it up more.
Wonderful. So we want to thank everybody for listening today. We hope that we are able to help you start your journey for decluttering. If you don't know where to start,
just do it, guys.
Just do it. Just start taking action. And I will tell you, the benefits will be amazing. Absolutely amazing. So thank you all for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you later, guys.
Peace. We want to thank everybody for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe and sign up to receive notifications so you know when the next episode is live. If you like today's episode and know someone who could benefit from the topic we covered, please share it with them. And if you have any suggestions for us or want to chime in on today's topic, you can email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com, and that's chaos with a K, or send us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.